Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the podcast that almost didn't happen. Todd Clint SharePoint podcast number 316, recorded live Monday, November 28th, 2016. I am your host, a very portrait and off-centered Todd Clint, and the other guy, Shane. Go ahead here. Let me do this. So the other guy, Shane.
Hi, my name is Shane Young, and I'm with Bold Zebras. No, I'm excited, right? This is our first show with the new software, and they get to see me make faces while you drone on about nothing. Can't wait.
This whole new software thing has been nothing but positive today. So we'll talk about that in a minute. SharePoint.rackspace.com, rackspace.com/Microsoft, Shane's boldzebras.com. I'm at Todd Clint everywhere, todd.clint@rackspace.com. Shane, give them your deets.
At Shane's Cows on the old Twitter, and Shane.Young at boldzebras.com. And I also like to just point, Todd, you're feeling a little defeated over there. The show is live. You gotta put that happy face on. So I'm also Shane's good positive vibe service if you ever need that. So Todd, happy face.
Yeah, there you go. Turn that frown upside down.
And on center.
Oh yes, on center. Exactly. Family friendly. So for production notes, the reason all these jokes, for those of you that weren't in my office before this whole thing started airing, the last couple of podcasts that we've done, the Google Hangouts stuff I didn't have a problem with it, but it was making Shane's audio even more squeaky than his voice normally is. It's very scratchy, very unusable. I spent probably an hour this morning editing podcast 313 to try to get rid of those chunks of stuff. It was pretty painful. So in Shane's spare time, he's been looking at different broadcasting solutions to try to find something besides Hangouts to use. And then Brad Sams, a friend of ours who does a bunch of stuff, the Sams Report, he does some stuff with Paul Thurrott. He did an episode last week on what I use, and it was all the software they use and the hardware and all that. And they use a piece of software called XSplit to do their broadcasting and all that. And that's what we kind of ended up trying to do. And so what you're looking at now is Shane and I on a Skype call, and then me with another video webcam, and then sharing Shane's Skype video. It hasn't gone smoothly the last 18 to 20 minutes, to say the least. Shane and I didn't actually start playing with this until about an hour ago, which is always the best time to do these things. So...
Sorry, to be fair, right? We had it up and running, and they were like, hey, let's add this one more thing. And the one more thing's really where this all broke down. So
this is true. Had we left well enough alone, this would have been a completely different story with a much happier ending. And I would have been on center. I think is really the thing to take away from this. So that's why this. So right now, for those of you that are for your own benefit, listening to the audio only version of this, there's lots of big black boxes where video is an ad, and my video stream is 4:3, and Shane's is 16:9, so nothing lines up. It's just a mess all the way around. Next week, though, because next Monday at like 3:00 Central Time, we'll get back on this again, and we'll pick up where we left off. And we'll do that. Mark Chrisman in the chat room saying the just one more thing factor, always his downfall. Yeah, we had to get greedy. That's what happened here.
But what I would like to point out, though, is I think, if we could afford music for the show, which we can't, right? But it'd be awesome if we could have a little to the left, to the left, to the right, a slide.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I've never done such a thing in my life. So hopefully upcoming versions of this podcast will have better video, all that, because we've gotten this all figured out. But Hangouts, you're on notice. I think we're done with you.
Yeah, so I think it's a good time to remind people, right, if you are watching the video or you catch the video, right, your friend forwards this to you as a joke. It's a version of Rickrolling now.
It's the latest in Rickrolling, yeah.
But if you do get it right, we're also on all the popular podcast stuff, right? The iTunes stuff, the Google Play. I don't know. There's a big long list. So if you can subscribe to us and put us in your regular podcast and listen to us and not have to see us, you might be better off. Just throwing it out there.
Yeah, and I think we're actually not in Google Play. I need to figure what out. But we are on iTunes. And then what was you've been doing some video stuff too. Tell them about that.
Yep. So we're also on our friend Channel 9, right? We got ourselves out there. Apparently they have a nice offline thing. So, when you're sitting in traffic, you want to watch us on video, get your iPod out. My kids want iPods for Christmas. I'm like, what's wrong with you?
Clearly, you're a terrible parent.
I am. I'm like, you've got the nice big iPad, but they found my old Zunes. So they both have Zunes that they like to run around the house with. And they're like, we want ones that work.
Oh, the Zune.
He's so cute. He's still metal. He still works after all these years. So kudos to that.
Do you have the Pooh Brown Zune? I can't remember.
No, but I had, I think I think the Zune 1, but they found the Zune 2 or whatever, right? The metal metallic-y ones. They haven't found the Pooh Brown one. I don't know where I don't know if I still have that one.
All right. So we've got a few minutes. We chewed up all of Shane's precious time by me not being able to get this thing going. So we need to jump right into the topics because he's got Chick-fil-A waiting for him. And so jealous. I think we're having leftovers tonight. So the first one, tell about the PNP stuff.
Yeah, so one of the things we've talked about a couple of times, and we keep meaning to have a whole show devoted to. One of these days we'll get around to. Right, the Microsoft Office team, they've got the Patterns and Practices group, a bunch of the Microsoft consultants and really smart people like Vesa who have kind of set out to help people transition from on-prem to the cloud Office 365 apps, and also to help people, I guess, remember Office 365D, right, the dedicated Office 365? And
oh, yeah.
That was really what started Patterns and Practices. I had no idea. Anyway, one of the most useful things that you can do if you're doing any PowerShell with SharePoint Online is to download the Patterns and Practices PowerShell commandlets. So I have a video on how to install those. It's pretty straightforward, but they actually let you do stuff, right? Todd's covered it before in both talks we've done at conferences and on here, that the SharePoint Online PowerShell commandlets that Microsoft ships natively pretty much don't do anything, right? There's like 54 of them now. I mean, they're really, really invested there. But so anyway, one of the downsides of the Patterns and Practices stuff up until this point has been that they used the prefix of SPO, which was the same prefix that the internal stuff used. And so we had some conflicts with like get SPO site. So they announced that they're deprecating the SPO and switching to a PNP. So it'll be get PNP site going forward. So it should make life a little easier for us, a little less confusing. I don't know. I thought it was a good catch, so I thought I'd share that with the world.
Yeah, and that's one of the things, I've been doing PowerShell classes for a long time now, 7 years, something like that. And that prefix, that's kind of one of PowerShell's unwritten rules, that the nouns, if you've got, if you're writing your own things, the nouns should have a prefix so that you can have multiple sites, because there's, users is a better example. There's get AD user, get SP user. So you have the prefix to let the person using PowerShell know which one they want. So like you said, they use the SPO. I liked that because you could tell what it is. I get why they changed it to PNP. I'm not sure that I approve just yet. I'll have to play with it some.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. It's the SPO was easy because there wasn't enough to really conflict, but get SPO site did cause a lot of weirdness. And SPO. The good news is PNP is a lot easier to search for, because I'm really bad about doing get command dash noun SPO star. And so now PNP star will, be a much easier hit for me, I think. So
we could do dash module.
Yes, I mean, I know all the fancy ways to do it, but I'm lazy. I like to type SPO star or star SPO star. Really, real lazy there.
Yeah, no, and I get why they did it. It's probably for the best. It's just going to have to be some retraining. But yes, if you do any kind of PowerShell with SharePoint Online or any kind of Office 365 things, you owe it to yourself to get the PNP things. And they've been updating it constantly. Those guys are tireless in making that better. It kind of stinks because I use screenshots of all that when I do presentations, and every time I present on this topic, I have to go out and get the new list. Okay, now there's this many 100 commandlets, all my screenshots every time I do it. Very good stuff.
Yeah, well, and they're just, I will tell you that there is a little bit of a learning curve with them. Like, for example, last week before I went on to, food indulge coma, I was trying to create a view for a list. And so there is a PowerShell command that's like add SPO view, I think. But then they're like, hey, if you want to do a filtered view, so you want to do, only show me the ones where Todd is ugly equals yes as a column. to do that, you actually have to do a dash query, and then you've got to write nasty XML syntax for that. So what I did figure out, though, and I don't have it to share, I need to blog it, but is you can go and like query, you go create one manually, and then you can query it and then copy and paste it. But then you've got quotes in there, so you've got to use double quotes versus single quotes. I mean, it was like 2 hours of my life to try and get a query in there. So there is a little bit of a learning curve. It's not as intuitive as on-prem SharePoint PowerShell.
No, and that's because you're building up those
muted.
I'm surprised you told me. And it's one of those differences between SharePoint on-prem and hitting the object model and SharePoint Online, where you're bundling up these essentially web queries and sending them across, transactions and all that. I will say, so all that stuff is correct. I will say that the PNP guys have done a very good job of abstracting us from that, little by little, piece by piece, working some of that stuff out when they can. So, so that'll change. All right, moving right along because we only get you for a few more minutes. The next one I think is in the topic is yours too, Office 365 and some new markets.
Yeah, our good friend Lori Gowan, our executive producer there, she tweeted out Office 365's added 10 new markets. Several of them I didn't even know were countries, I'm not going to lie.
I've been to 2 of them.
Yeah, really the only one I had never heard of was Bhutan, I guess?
Bhutan, yep.
I wasn't familiar with that one. Vatican City got their own deployment. I thought that was interesting. I guess the Pope is a big fan of Office 365, but
of course.
Brings them to 150 markets and 44 languages. So I think this Office 365 thing's catching on. I'm not sure yet, though.
Yep. So I've been to Martinique and Vatican City. I've flown over Greenland. I knew that Bhutan existed. So and the way that I keep up on this, so with a lot of people, our knowledge of things stops. If it didn't exist or wasn't known when we were 18, the day we graduated high school, it doesn't happen. Like there's no more brontosaurus. What happened with that? Brontosauruses were huge when I was a kid. Apparently now there's not brontosauruses anymore. It's now the Apatosaurus or something. So the way that I keep up on this particular thing is I watch the Olympics. I watch the opening ceremonies of the Olympics. So every other year I get an update of all the new countries that I didn't know about. And that's how I keep up to date on it.
Well, now we're completely off topic here, but I always find it interesting, when you hear people like travelers and they talk about the list of countries, right? There's the list of UN countries, the list of, there's like 4 or 5 different lists. There's just not a static, this is the countries on the planet.
Yeah, so, I was surprised about that too. Fortunately, I haven't been in any of those crazy ones. Well, Vatican City's one of the bubble ones, I guess. I've been to like 35 countries outside of the U.S., but I think they all match on all the lists. But yeah, so listen to Joel and Michael talk about that. They're, yeah.
Who knew?
Yeah, whether it has a standing military or not, and all these crazy things.
Yeah, well, and speaking of overly complicated explanations, right? So the list of countries is tough. I also have a quick blog post here I wanted to make sure people saw Microsoft put out, and it's the just kind of a rundown of the BI and the Excel services and how they fit into SharePoint 2016. Now that Feature Pack 1 is released, it seems like more people are kind of starting to look at SharePoint 2016 a little more seriously. And so you're going to find out, for example, Excel services is now on Office Online Server. And so that changes some of the licensing scenarios and what data you can query directly with a special license versus without a special license. I don't know. I read the article. It was way too complicated for me. But I felt like it might be, the viewers are a little smarter than us, so I thought they might get something out of it. Yeah,
no, that's a good one. And the BI story is one of those stories that Feature Pack 1 really hit hard, and that Microsoft's been in the background. There's so many different groups, and we've talked about how you get this crazy thing where somebody says, well, Microsoft said this. Microsoft's kind of a big company. It's not one big homogenous group. And so the BI, just the nature of BI is taking data from different places and doing stuff with it and presenting it. And so you got the SharePoint team, you got the SQL team, you got, and so there's always different groups in the background working on these things. So there's always something new coming out. And so I was with you. I read that. I understood about half of it, 40% maybe. But for the folks that are doing BI, it was good stuff.
Yeah, at the bottom they're like, here's a breakdown of what the article said. I'm like, that didn't help.
I couldn't even understand the too long didn't read. Oh, doggone it.
It's a sad world. I think other quick Office 365 updates, the public websites for Office 365, right? That got deprecated in March 15 of 2015, but people who had it, they said you had 2 more years. So 2 more years is up on March 15, 2017.
Yeah, and that was the whole thing that you could put your brochureware up on Office 365, that you could have anonymous access in Office 365, and they took that away. And I get why they did it. So much of SharePoint is all about who you are and who you know and all those things, kind of like college and the business world. And so I kind of see why they wanted to not focus on the anonymous stuff, but I kind of miss it. I wish they hadn't done that.
Yep, and I'm going to do my good deed for the holiday season. I want to be on Santa's happy list going forward. So I will give Daniel Glenn credit for tweeting that. I actually follow him on Twitter, saw the tweet, and added it to our show notes. So it hurts me to have to give him credit for something, but he's in the chat room complaining already that I haven't done it yet. So
I have no idea who he is, and I would not give whoever that mysterious person is any kind of credit whatsoever.
Well,
it's against all I believe in.
It was the tweet for the show. You win some, you lose some.
Take them while you can. So Brett Bartlett in the chat room saying, "Can Office Online Server be on-prem? Seems contrary to the name." The Microsoft naming folks, they have a good time once in a while, and that's another one of them. Yes, the Office Online Server is actually on-prem. Yeah.
Well, let's take it one step further. Office Online Server is not legally allowed to be installed in the cloud.
That's true. You can't. Well, there's. So I think you can install it on Azure. I thought I'd have to look into that. Yes, but as a general point, yes, you cannot license Office Online Server to be installed in any kind of shared environments, which is all hosted environments.
Yeah, one of the 17 episodes that you weren't here for, I actually sent out the link that Microsoft sent out reminding people that Office Online Server couldn't be put on any of the cloud, because the reason is that license mobility doesn't affect Office Online Server because it's technically still categorized as Office, which is a client licensing, and client licensing doesn't have licensing mobility. So, yeah,
Brett's saying in the chat room that he's now permanently confused. Welcome to the club. We get together every Monday afternoon at 4 Central. It's
enough to make you want to drink, isn't it?
I wish I did.
We can talk about Office Online Server and BI and just be totally lost. Oh, and my horse dog just walked in the room, so hopefully it doesn't interrupt the show.
Yep. So we got that in our public websites. Very sad. What other stuff do we have here, Shane?
So you missed it earlier when you were kidnapped. Todd was kidnapped this afternoon, folks. I couldn't find him for like 3 hours. It hurt my heart.
I went for a run. That's where I was.
For 3 hours?
No, for like an hour. But you like, there was your lunchtime and my lunchtime, and then it was like 52 degrees out. It's November 28th in Iowa. It's 52 degrees out. So I took my shirt off and went for a run.
So you ran for 5 minutes and then you recuperated for 2 hours and 55 minutes. Got it. But so anyway, this afternoon I created I decided to make this a week. Right? Cyber Monday was bugging the crap out of me. So I decided that this was going to be National Shane's Help Someone Learn PowerShell Week. So make sure you tag all your tweets with SHSLPW and to help people learn PowerShell. Because we don't talk about it enough on here, how much everyone needs to know PowerShell. So I made it a week.
This isn't some public
Todd
service.
Muted himself. He's trying to make fun of me having a national holiday, and he's muted himself, so he can't even make fun of it. Serves you right. And
the worst part about that is I was muted, and I hit the button to unmute, and I didn't hit it hard enough.
I watched. It's the nice thing about this double video. I can see what's going on. These people can watch you go.
The
show will be so much more fun to watch.
Next week, it'll be so much better next week. So Shane's Help Someone Learn PowerShell. SHSLPW hashtag. No. All right. We got another? Go ahead. Take it away.
Other worthless endeavors. Hopefully, you guys are all familiar with the Cards Against Humanity and all their antics they have on Black Friday. So 2 years ago, they did you could buy a bag of bull poop, and you send them like $10, and they would ship you a bag of. It turned out to literally be a paper brown bag with some bull poop in it. Last year they did the nothing. They said, you can buy nothing from us for $10 or $5. I think it's $5. And $80,000 worth of people bought nothing.
I did that with the Tesla Model 3. I gave them $1,000 for nothing.
See, there you go. So this year, what they decided to outdo themselves, they created a money pit. So you can literally donate. It's over now, unfortunately, but you can donate anywhere from $5 to infinity dollars, and they're just digging a hole in a field. And there's just a webcam just permanently showing this, backhoe just sitting there just scooping away dirt. And they've got over $100,000 of people that just donated anywhere from $5 to $1,700, or $1,700 was the biggest one I saw.
So they're donating money to pay this guy to dig the hole? Is that what?
I watched it there for like 30 minutes. I'm like, this is mesmerizing. There's no music now. He says,
So I would, Daniel Glenn linked at holidayhole.com. Probably shouldn't be mentioning that on a family-friendly podcast. When I was on vacation in St. Lucia a couple of weeks ago, they're building some over-the-water cabanas, and they're building a pier out there. And so they had a barge that would come and drop rocks in the water, and then they had a backhoe that was picking the rocks up and building the pier. And I remember talking to Jill, and I was so mad that it was sitting there making all that noise, clunking around. And like you, I sat there and watched that damn thing for like 45 minutes, pick up big rocks and pile them up.
And shake your fist the whole time.
I couldn't turn away. I don't know what was wrong with me. I get it.
And do you remember with Howard Stern, right, when they did the first demographics? They're like, the average person that loves Howard Stern listens for 15 minutes. And they say, why? Well, they want to hear what he says next. And they said, when the average person who hates Howard Stern listens for 35 minutes. And we asked them why. And they said, we want to hear what he says next.
Yeah, I missed it. I missed watching the backhoe do the thing. I have to get somebody to go out here and tear up the neighbor's yard.
It's on a YouTube video. You can go hop out there right now.
Holiday hole. Yeah. So Daniel just posted a screenshot in the Slack room.
That's the video.
Oh, that is awesome. That is awesome. All right, so we got to get I want to make sure. Well, I guess we'll put that. The one above that, we'll put G in the production or promotion. Sorry.
Yeah, well, I think let's do I and J real quick. I'll get yelled at by the wife. Who cares?
All right. Well, I don't care.
Exactly.
I have been the catalyst for that on more occasions than I can count. I've made peace with it.
She's yelled at you too. I mean, it's fine.
It's true.
So then the next one here, right? I know this is going to come as a shock to you all because one of my mantras is everything you read on the internet is true, right?
Without question, yeah.
I mean,
Abe Lincoln said something about that, yeah.
Was it him or was it George Washington was chopping down the cherry tree?
Could have been both. Could have been.
Gotcha. So anyway, one of the things I wanted to point out, we all know how great Reddit is, right? That is a quality website with lots of happy people. It was a really good experience for a first-timer. The CEO of Reddit admitted that he altered a bunch of anti-Trump posts this week. Apparently, they were calling him a bad word, and so he got really mad. So he went and edited people's posts. I just couldn't fathom that someone would edit community content. I don't know.
Thoughts? Yeah, I was shocked, and I'm not a big Reddit guy. I've got a Reddit account, and I go there periodically, but I don't go every day. I don't go very often. So it wasn't, there wasn't a sanctity involved with Reddit for me. It's just a place where I go, But I was really shocked that it got under his skin that much that he actually did that. I mean, that's a huge breach of trust. That is just gigantic. Yeah, I was surprised that he did that. I'm glad that he came free or came clear with it. But Reddit has really, the last year or so, has had some stumbles about that. They fired their social media person without a lot of explanation, and then that was a huge blunder. Trust is what makes all this cloud stuff work, and boy, he blew it.
Yeah, it's apparently, and I think that's why he apologized, right? It was apparently his internal community people found out, and they just, they were ready to fire him. So if, he feared if his internal people were that mad, it's probably the community is a little rougher. But yeah. I mean, I think it's just a reminder, right? Everything you read on the internet is not true. Contrary to what I say, it's probably not all true.
Well, and that's one of the pieces of collateral damage that the recent election here in the U.S. has shown up is that there's this whole idea about fake news and how quickly that spreads when you've got confirmation bias. The people that don't like Trump, they see any headline that says something bad about him, they just forward it. They don't care if it's true or not. And the same about Clinton. And so then you get in this whole discussion. Facebook got involved. Zuckerberg said, that Facebook was going to start blocking fake news things. But then how does that fit in with parody? Where does the onion fall? That kind of thing. And then while we'd like to think that facts are facts, they're not. So one person's fake news is, there's, it's, I wish the world was black and white, but it is so gray. And that's just not the lighting in here. And my sweatshirt, go Chiefs. Did you guys see that game last night? Holy cow. Okay,
yeah.
Anyway.
I actually stayed up and watched it.
So did I. Oh.
Yeah,
anyway.
And I couldn't believe it went in. I mean, it hit so hard. We're talking about the field goal at the end, for those of you that didn't watch the game. The kicker set
overtime, already won field goal, tied at field goals in overtime. Oh, nail biter.
Yeah, so he sets up to kick a pretty makeable field goal, right? And it's from the left hash. This dude drills it, and when he kicks it, you're like, "Oh, that doesn't look good," right? It kind of came out of this stinger instead of kind of that lofty ball they like to kick. And it goes, and it hits the goalpost, and it's like, boing. Oh. But somehow it hit, and it flipped behind the other. I mean, it just, I don't know. My geometry class says that wasn't possible.
Yeah, when, I don't know if you watched it. I'm a Chiefs fan, obviously. So when he lined up, and it was on the left hash, and he lined up, and then he just stood there for a minute. And I'm like, Santos, you need to edge to the left. And then he took like his 2 steps over, and I'm like, no, bud, just a little more. And I could tell instead of trying to go cross, he was going. And then you're right, he put some stink on that kick, like his job depended on it, because likely his job depended on it. And when it hit that upright, it shook that whole stadium. And it was in Denver and all that. But yeah, it hit just on the inside somehow, and it shot off, and it was amazing. I never saw the footage from the camera below, but I would have loved to have seen that.
I don't think they ever showed. They did show one from behind. I don't know if did you see that one?
Oh yeah.
So that was the only one I saw that finally convinced me. I didn't believe it went in or went through or whatever it does.
Yeah, there was no way that crowd would have stood for it had it not gone through, and they would have called it the other way. They would have. Yeah. Anyway, so I forgot where so the news. Yeah. So this whole fake news thing, it's not just as easy as saying we're not going to publish fake news, because what is fake news?
Old Obi-Wan said it best, right? Everything's true from a certain point of view. I got my Star Wars tickets today, so
I'm jealous. I need to get those. Perspective is a huge piece of all that.
All right. So last thing, speaking of perspective, Todd, if we could only get about 5.8 million more YouTube subscribers, then I think CNN would buy us as well, right? Reported today that CNN bought a popular YouTube star's app called Beamy. His name is Casey Neistat. I've never heard of him because I'm not cool.
You're not.
CNN's idea is that they're trying to, engage the younger audiences that refuses to watch their crap. I don't know why. And so they're going to bring this guy in-house, and they're going to let him kind of go and build a new way of – they stopped us short of calling it new news, but a new way to kind of interact with that younger audience and get the topics that people are talking about in a format that's engaging. And so I thought it was kind of an interesting play on their part. I don't know.
Yeah, I've not read the article, but it feels like they're trying to fill the vacuum that Jon Stewart left. It feels like, because if you talk to any, 20-somethings and all that, The Daily Show was their news. I mean, for good or for bad, that was how, and a lot of people in that demographic and in our generation also really lamented the fact that Jon Stewart wasn't around for this election to kind of call people on their BS, both sides. And it feels like CNN is trying to fill in that void.
Yeah, I mean, kudos to them, right? That's the most forward-thinking thing that one of those news channels has done in a long time. So,
yeah. So somebody's grandson came in. It was bring your grandson to work day. Grandpa, this sucks. Yeah.
The kid's probably sitting there, and CNN headquarters watching it on YouTube and Facebook living it, like, hey, look, and they're like, wait a minute, maybe there's correlation. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right, that's all I got for today.
So hit your promotion. I see you've got something in the promotion.
Oh, yeah. So I got good news or bad news, depending on how you look at it. But Good news is I'm going to start writing for Petri.com. I'm going to write a weekly article, so I got to get my first one out this week, and Todd hasn't given me a topic yet, so I don't know what I'm going to write about. But yeah, I got to figure that out, but I'm looking forward to that, so look for me to tweet that out and probably next week talk about it a little more, just starting to write for them. And they're trying to drive more kind of everyday SharePoint content and Office 365 content on their site. So they've got that kind of covered, with the Windowsy stuff and SQL and Exchange. And so they're hoping that I can do it for SharePoint. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and I've written a couple of things for them. I always struggle. So you don't have a blog that you normally put stuff on. And I've always struggled with what stuff goes on toddclint.com and what stuff I would, put on Petri. So I've written a couple of things for Petri, and that's petri.com. But that's always something that I've struggled with. What do I write for them or anybody else? So I'm glad to see that you're jumping in and helping out.
I have a blog. I just don't use it very much.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Which blog are we talking about? The msmvps.org blog?
Go out there, msmvps.com/Shane, and you will see that I've written probably a dozen posts in the last 3 months.
And how many posts 5 months ago back?
Yeah, there was a lull.
About a 5-year lull?
But the good news is, right, is the amount of views that I got on my Windows 2007 Service Pack 2 install post was hundreds of thousands. So my average views are still way above the average bears.
That one was a good earner. I'll give you that.
I wish I'd earned some money. It just was,
Yeah.
What do you do?
All right, so we got to let Shane go. There are cows, depending on him, to go to Chick-fil-A. So for those of you that are watching this, I apologize. The video's horrible, and we will have all of this ironed out by next week. And
nope.
We'll give it a good solid 45 minutes before we go live.
I'll agree with that.
And so I'll stick around the chat room for a while. I'll probably kill the stream. We'll see. But Shane, get out of there, feed yourself. Thanks, everybody, and we will see you next week.
See ya.
Bye.